From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Monday, October the 23rd, 2017. More rockets from Syria landed in Israeli territory over the weekend. A total of 5 projectiles landed in the northern Golan Heights early Saturday morning. No damage or injury was reported. In response, the IDF hit 3 artillery positions of the Syrian military. The IDF said in a statement that even if this is spillover, this is an exceptional event, and the continuation of such events will only exacerbate Israel's response, adding that the IDF will not tolerate any attempt to harm the sovereignty of the State of Israel and her citizens, and that the Syrian regime is responsible for all that is happening on its territory. The IDF spokesman also reported that a Palestinian threw rocks at a 12-year-old Israeli boy in Hebron on Saturday. The boy was taken to the hospital requiring stitches, and Israeli troops were looking for the assailant, saying that such violence is nothing less than terror. Meanwhile, IDF Chief of Staff Lieutenant General Gadi Eisenkot flew to the U.S. for an official visit Saturday night. Eisenkot will meet with military leaders from all over the world at the 2nd Annual Conference of Chiefs of Staff in Washington, led by Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Joseph Dunford. This is the first time that Israel was invited to take part in the conference. Eisenkot will also hold sit-downs with U.S. and other defense officials. The IDF said that during these meetings, the commanders will discuss shared security challenges, situation assessments, security-related developments in the Middle East, and military collaborations. Eisenkot's 4-day trip follows a visit by Israeli Defense Minister Avigdor Lieberman to Washington, in which he met with U.S. Defense Secretary James Mattis and U.S. National Security Advisor H.R. McMaster this past Thursday. Israel's President Rivlin welcomed the European Union's new envoy to the country, Emmanuel Joffre, who presented Rivlin with his letter of credentials in Jerusalem today. Rivlin praised ties with the EU, but also stressed that the EU should not pressure Israel in regards to the peace process. Rivlin told Joffre, unfortunately, from time to time, you really believe that by forcing either the Israelis or the Palestinians, you can bring to an end the conflict. Rivlin said that there were no shortcuts and that both sides needed to understand that they must face reality. Joffre replaces outgoing Ambassador Lars Faaborg Andersen. He served in Israel in the past, leading the political and trade section at the EU Embassy in Tel Aviv. While acknowledging the disagreements with Israel from time to time, the new ambassador stressed the common values shared, like democracy and the rule of law and human rights. And both Joffre and President Rivlin attended the opening winter session of Israel's Knesset in Jerusalem today. Rivlin addressed the session where he passionately advocated for Israeli democracy. Rivlin told the parliament members and guests that the Knesset is the representative of the sovereign, the people of Israel, the entire people of Israel. He said, in this house, we must remember that it is the people we must live up to. An arrest was made last week in the incident we reported to you about of anti-Semitic vandalism in Staten Island. A neighbor of the Calabrese family, 37-year-old James Rizzo, was arrested on Thursday for painting a swastika and an anti-Semitic slur on the garage door of the family. He told police he knew the family was Jewish because, quote, of the way they spoke. Rizzo, who has a criminal record, was caught on surveillance camera footage and later admitted that he committed the crime. He is charged with 2 counts of criminal mischief as a hate crime and aggravated harassment and is being held on $10,000 bail. As we reported to you, the family had left the vandalism up so that others could see what happened. They now have allowed it to be cleaned up. The 123rd precinct of the NYPD showed the cleanup being done by a special team at the request of the local city councilman on Twitter and wrote, working with our partners to erase the signs of hate. Well, Jews in Brazil held a special first-time-ever street fair celebrating their Jewish identity this weekend. The mayor of Rio de Janeiro joined approximately 9,000 Jews and non-Jews at the debut of the Fest Rio Judaico Sunday, which featured Jewish music, dance, film, food, and more. Mayor Marcello Crivella said respect for all religions is fundamental, adding that the fact that there are so many people here who are not from the Jewish community is a demonstration of the tolerance that must exist between all religions. And taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS from Monday, October the 23rd. With baseball's World Series beginning this week, we bring you some programming celebrating Jews and baseball. At 7:15, Yeshiva University's Jeffrey Guruk talks American Jewry and sports. Then at 8:15, Jewish ball players are in the spotlight. At 9, Mark Golub sits down with Larry Rutman, who talks about his book, American Jews and America's Game. That's on L'chaim. And at 10 tonight, Broadway film and TV star Mandy Patinkin talks about his career with NYU professor Thane Rosenbaum at the 92nd Street Y. And coming up right after this newscast tonight at 6:30, Mark Golub speaks with Director of Public Affairs for Agudath Israel of America, Rabbi Avi Shafran, on how he feels about open Orthodoxy and conservative Judaism versus traditional Judaism. That's on tonight's In the News. And that's the JBS News Update for Monday, October the 23rd, 2017. I'm Teisha Bader.